and welcome to the Gambling Parlor here on Dead Money Sports. It's the NFL Playoff Selection Show, the Divisional Round edition. We've got 4 games this weekend. We've got some great matchups. If you saw on the early line show, I did give out my opinions on the side and total for each game and really haven't changed my opinion on any of these outcomes except for maybe one, and that's the first game that we will be talking about for this divisional round of the NFL playoffs, and that is the Buffalo Bills taking on the Denver Broncos in Denver, as we've got a great matchup between two great quarterbacks. Obviously, Josh Allen, reigning MVP. Bo Nix, up-and-coming star for the Denver Broncos. Sean Payton's got his team playing well. Their defense has been outstanding. Now, as far as the total goes, it was at 46.5. I said I liked the under. I had the game 21-20 in favor of the Bills. I don't have a lot of confidence in the side on that game. This is the one that really has me flummoxed because the injuries for the secondary for Buffalo have me concerned, because we could certainly see Bo Nix in this, middle of the pack passing game for the Buffalo Bills or for the Denver Broncos be able to exploit some of these young players in the secondary for Buffalo. It has me concerned a little bit on the side, as we could certainly see that flip, and it could be a 21-20 win for the Denver Broncos. But I do like the under in this game. Now, I also have a couple of props. My first one is Dawson Knox over 2.5 receptions at plus 127. Now, over the last few games, he's certainly seen an increase in targets. He had, going back to December 14th, he's had 4 targets, 2 targets, 5 targets, 2 targets, and 3 targets. Now, in the last 3 games, he's had 5 targets, 5 receptions, 2 targets, 2 receptions, 3 targets, and 3 receptions. So he's not dropping the ball. And we've also seen that it looks like both Gabe Davis and Shavers for the Buffalo Bills will be out, which means they're down even more, and Palmer, so they're down even more wide receivers, which could see an increase in 12 and 13 personnel, getting more tight ends on the field and throwing out of what would traditionally be running formations, so they can try to use their abundance of tight ends, pass-catching tight ends in this Buffalo offense to maybe make up for the shortfall in the wide receiver group. And it's also a way to, disguise their passing plays as run plays. As obviously Buffalo has a great offensive line. They're one of the better running teams with James Cook and Josh Allen both, running the ball. But we could see them line up in these heavy tight end formations and then throw out of those. So I think Knox will get a few more opportunities. Like I said, he's had 5, 2, and 3 targets and receptions over the last 3 games. So I like Dawson Knox over 2.5 receptions at plus 127. My other prop is Franklin, the wide receiver for Denver, over 2.5 receptions at plus 125. Now, he has been one of Bo Nix' security blankets. Normally you consider the tight end the security blanket, but these guys have a history. They played in college together, and it's showing. Now, in the game against the Chargers, he only had 1 target for no receptions. But in the games prior to that, going back to December 7th, he had 4 targets, 6 targets, 5 targets, and 4 targets. And he had 3 receptions, 6 receptions, 4 receptions, and 4 receptions. So when the ball is coming his way, he seems to catch it more often than not. And again, it seems like this is Bo Nix' security blanket. when he's scrambling, he and Franklin seem to have a good connection with one another, and so they can read each other's body language, and Franklin can get himself in a position to bail out Bo Nix. I don't think they're going to be running the ball. They're a past first offense with Denver, so I think we could certainly see them try to throw the ball on this weak Buffalo secondary. So my other prop for the Buffalo Bills Denver Broncos game is Troy Franklin, right? Yeah, over 2.5 receptions at plus 125. The second game on Saturday that we will be live streaming right here on YouTube is the San Francisco 49ers heading to Seattle to take on the Seattle Seahawks, number 1 seed, NFC West champions. These two teams have met twice, week 1 and week 18, each team winning one of those games. Seattle winning the week 18 game that gave them the NFC West title and the number 1 spot in the playoffs. Again, my early line show, haven't changed anything on this one. I have the over 46.5, or it might be 45.5 now. Let me double check on that one. Yeah, actually, it's all the way down to consensus of 45. I still like the over. I know the money's coming in. Under's getting 69% of the tickets, but only 53% of the money. So more tickets than money. And again, I like it. As I said, I have it as a 28-20 victory for Seattle, covering the 7 to 7.5 point line. I know a lot of people are wanting to take the points with San Francisco. I see this as an 8-point victory for Seattle. My props for this game, I have Kenneth Walker III over 13.5 receiving yards in this game. I think we're going to see some screen passes from Seattle. I think they're going to look to exploit the weakness in the defensive front and the linebacking group for San Francisco. Obviously, they lost another player in George Kittle on offense, but they lost some guys prior to the first playoff game, and I think it could get exploited. Now, in the last 3 games, Kenneth Walker has had 3 receptions, 2 receptions, and 4 receptions. 4 in the Week 18 game, the last game they played. He's had 64 yards. He only had 6 yards against Carolina in that game receiving, but he had 36 yards in the San Francisco game. So I like the fact that he could get some opportunities in the screen game. I think he's the better receiver out of him and Charbonnet. This is minus 113 for the Kenneth Walker III over 13.5 receiving yards. Now, on the other side of the ball, for San Francisco, I have a prop, and that is Demarcus Robinson over 2.5 receptions in this game. It looks like Pearsall may play, may not play, but how much of a contribution is he going to make? With George Kittle out, we may see less passing opportunities to the tight ends, few more to the slot receiver. Robinson, since December 14th, he's had two targets those 3 weeks, and then the last 2 weeks he had 4 targets, 3 receptions. Then he had 7 targets, 6 receptions against Philadelphia. So we're seeing Brock Purdy is trusting him more. He had a big game in that wild card round a matchup, and I think we could see him have another big game here against Seattle. This defense is really good, but San Francisco and Kyle Shanahan tend to dial it up. He comes up with some good game plans. Again, I like the over in this game, so I expect there to be some movement of the ball. And at plus 125, I just think it's a good spot to maybe get a win with Demarcus Robinson over 2.5 receptions. moving on to Sunday. The first game of the Sunday slate is the Houston Texans going to New England to take on the Patriots. Again, same as the early line show. I haven't changed my opinion on this one. We're still going with the over. It is now 40.5. If you can find it at 40.5, I have it as a 24-20 victory for the New England Patriots. So New England -3. It's saying 3.5 now at even money, but I have it as a 4-point win. So not a lot of margin for error there, but I do like the New England Patriots laying the points, but I like the over the 40.5. Now it's gone down. This line has been moving dramatically down from where it opened at. And now for this game, I like anytime touchdown score for Jalen Higgins. I think with Nico Collins being out, if he does not play, it does moves him up into that number one spot. We've seen him have some decent games recently as Stroud has looked to him more and more with Nico Collins having missed time. Going back to December 14th, the last 5 games, he only had 1 target, and then it goes 3 targets, 4 targets, 5 targets, 4 targets. So he's definitely getting opportunities to make plays. He's had 2 touchdowns over the last 3 games. So I think they're looking for him more. And he's the deep shot guy. So he could certainly look to exploit this New England secondary, especially if Gonzalez is out with the concussion, which it looks like he may be. He hasn't practiced yet. They had him out of the non-contact jersey, but whether or not he passes the protocol in time to be ready for this game on Sunday, not sure, but I do still like the Jalen Higgins anytime touchdown score. It's plus 310, so not a bad payday if he does get a chance to get into the end zone. I have 2 more props for this game. I have Drake May over 1.5 passing touchdowns at plus 130. I don't think they're going to be able to run the ball into the end zone against Houston. I think passing the ball, and we've seen Houston, although they are a very good defense, their secondary plays well. We've also seen them give up plays in the passing game to receivers, and I think Drake May will be able to use his mobility to create time, which will allow his receivers to break away from the tight coverage of the secondary of Houston and give him an opportunity for some passing touchdowns. So give me Drake May over 1.5 passing touchdowns at plus 130. And then my final prop for this game is Jalen Noel. Now, this is kind of a long shot because he hasn't had a lot of targets. He had 4 targets against the Chargers, and then he's only had 1 target against the Colts and 1 target against the Steelers. But again, if Nico Collins isn't playing, he moves up the depth chart. He becomes not only that 3rd wide receiver, right? Well, 4th wide receiver behind Higgins, Kirk, Hutchinson, and Knoll, but he'll be the one coming in to also give these guys breathers, and I think it could give him an opportunity. We really only need 1 catch to potentially get over this over 8.5 receiving yards at minus 115. Jalen Noel over 8.5 receiving yards at minus 115. That is my final prop for the Texans and Patriots divisional round game on Sunday. The final game of the divisional round is the Los Angeles Rams taking on the Chicago Bears. This game is supposed to be played in really cold temperatures, potential for some nasty weather, could be some snow flurries, but it's going to be very cold, and with the wind chill, it's going to be brutally cold. Now, this game opened at 50.5. I gave out the under. I had it as a 24-18 Rams victory, covering the spread. It has moved. It was plus 4.5 and went down to 3.5. Now it's going. It depends on where you're shopping. You're seeing fours, 4.5s, but the consensus is 3.5, and the total is 48. Both the total and the spread have been on the move in this one, but again, I like the under, and I like the Rams laying the 3.5. Now, some props that I have for this game. I think Kobe Parkinson may get an opportunity to score a touchdown in this one. Everybody's going to be looking to Nakua and Adams as the anytime touchdown scorers, and maybe Kyron Williams. But I think the tight end in these formations that McVay is scheming up could get open against the Chicago Bears team. Remember, they lost one of their linebackers in that game against the Packers, which could open up the middle of the field, especially in the red zone, where we've seen Parkinson get targets before. So give me Cody Parkinson's anytime touchdown score at plus 230. Now, I have another one. Even though I do have the under, I do expect there to be some touchdowns. Luther Burden, anytime touchdown score at plus 300. Again, I think people are going to look to DJ Moore. Adunze popped up on the injury report. Will he be in on every drive, or will he be a limited snaps, which gives Burden more of an opportunity? Everybody's going to look to Loveland after that huge game he had against the Packers, but I think this is an opportunity to jump on Burden. We've seen that he's actually become quite the target for Caleb Williams over the last few weeks. This guy's really had quite the impact on the offense. Over the last 5 weeks, he's had 6 targets, 7 targets, 9 targets, 4 targets, and 7 targets. So he's certainly getting the opportunities to make plays. And he's only had 1 touchdown over the final 5 weeks, but I think we could certainly see him make a play here, maybe a little run after the catch against this Rams defense. Remember, they're missing some secondary guys, and this defense has been kind of it's slowed down a little bit compared to how good they were earlier in the year. So I think Luther Burden is a good shot at scoring a touchdown at plus 300. And then my one prop for this game is going to be Puka Nakua over 3.5 rushing yards at minus 111. He's had a couple of rushing opportunities in the last few games. In the last game against Carolina, he had 3 carries for 14 yards. In the game against Arizona, he had 2 carries for 24 yards. Nothing against Atlanta and Seattle. And then against Carolina, against Detroit, he had 2 carries for 8 yards. So I think he may get a few rushing attempts. They may do, some of those jet sweeps they like to run, because he's such a hard person to tackle. And when they go into these tight end heavy formations, and then you run Puka Nakua behind those formations, it kind of reminds me of like the Deebo Samuel plays we used to see with San Francisco, and we've seen adopted with Washington, where you just have this guy that is just such a hard person to bring down, that you want to get him the ball as many chances as you can. And carries, especially down in the red zone or in short yardage situations, are always a good opportunity with Puka Nakua. So my one prop for this Rams-Bears game is going to be Puka Nakua over 3.5 rushing yards at minus 111. So there you have it, folks. Those are not only my picks for the side and total for the complete games for the divisional round, but also some props and some anytime touchdown scorers that I like for divisional round football. To everyone out there, we will be live streaming on Saturday during the San Francisco-Seattle game, and then on Sunday during the Los Angeles Rams-Chicago Bears game. So be sure to join me right here on YouTube for those live streams, and hit that like and notification bell so you're notified when those videos start. But to everyone out there, I want to thank you for joining me and watching all season long. We've only got a few more games left in this NFL season, so let's make the best of them. Let's try to make a little bit of money so we have something going into the conference championship rounds, and the Super Bowl. But to everyone, once again, thank you for watching and take care of yourselves.